Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ayomide Ibrahim, and I'm the CEO of FinServe Pro, a financial services company promoting financial inclusion for everybody. We are based out here in the DMV area, but yes, we have offices in Dallas. We are hoping to be in Atlanta anytime soon. And as we always say, our services are tailored for immigrants, and that's why we always answer, every call when we get them from organizations such as the Resilient Immigrant. We try as much as possible to see how we can help every immigrant catch up, with an American, that was born here when it comes to financial knowledge, financial education, closing, the financial gap. And today we will be talking about how you can secure that loan, grant, or any other, financial options for your business. So if you are a business owner, whether small, medium, or big, and you've been wondering how you can, secure funding for your business, this presentation is for you. Before I get started, I'll just give you, a further breakdown, background of the company, that we run, FinServe. We started about 4 years ago, after identifying that a lot of immigrants, both individuals and businesses, are really struggling, to get by when it comes to um, having bookkeeping and accounting, filing their taxes, having access to loans, having insurance for, their life and property. And we started 4 years ago with the mindset that we want to help. And here we are, almost 4 years later. And as of today, we provided um, over 3,800 services, mostly to immigrants. 90% or more of our clients are from the immigrant community. We have immigrants from even the Spanish community. We have um, Iran uh, and Iraq community very close to us here that we also go to help, just like we are helping with you now. So if you are an immigrant and you are wondering where should you go to, what company really understands your need, FinServe Pro is one. And yes, let's you know dive straight into why we are here today, how you can secure funding for your business. Yeah, why does funding matter? Why does it matter, why does it matter that you get, funding for your business? A lot of us, immigrants, when we come here, like me, we try to make sure we are able to find something to do to pay our bills. Most of the time, we come in here looking for, regardless whether you are here as a student or you came in here as a B1, B2, and then you try to regularize, your status, whichever way you come. Most of the time, you have to start looking for those under the table jobs. How do I mean by that? Getting jobs that are not really being reported, by your employer to the IRS or the state, and then you get paid either by cash or they cut you checks, maybe at the end of the month. And of course, as each day passes, you get better, you get your social security number, you start a 9 to 5, for example, you get into all these, other jobs like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. And then someday, like me again, you realize that there's a problem in the country, your new country that you live in, and you think you can resolve this problem. You can be of help. What most of us, would do is to create a business around that problem in order to get it solved. And before you know it, you are a business owner. You move from being a 9 to 5 and then you become a business owner. And as you journey further, you become like as a sidepreneur, which is what I call it. I call it, and then maybe someday you become a successful entrepreneur. Now, when you find yourself in that business ownership space, you need funding. You need money to take care of overheads, um, day-to-day overheads, uh, payment of salary. Maybe you need to get an office space, for example, or you want to um, branch into other locations. Whatever stage you find yourself when you are in that business ownership space, you need money. Now, what most of those that have, come to interview do is that they have a 9 to 5, or they have a side gig that they do, they make money from it, and then from there, they fund the business. But that is not sustainable if you really want to have a thriving business. You would someday need capital, investment, or money from someone else, like a bank, like an angel investor. We have so many different, forms of funding out there. But as we'll be seeing in our presentation, you must identify the very one that suits the business that you run. Every business, whether a startup, a growing enterprise, or established business, would need capital to thrive. If you want to move from a basement, like how we started from the basement of my home, and then to have offices in different states, or even offices in the state that you live. That is thriving. You need you need capital. Now, capital helps companies and businesses to expand, to innovate, to launch operations, manage cash flow, and enable investment in research and development. Without access to proper funding, even the best idea can fail. Remember, I told you that the most successful business that we have out there emanate from identifying, a problem and having the idea of how to resolve, this problem. Now, no matter how how robust the idea can be, if you don't have access to capital, that idea is not going to fly. Now, what is business funding? In simple terms, business funding is capital provided to a business to support its operation, growth, or development. It can come from various sources, including loans, capital, or equity investments. Now, here we have the types of business fundings that come up. We have others, but these are, the most common, that we have, especially in the Western, countries that we live in. We have loans, we have grants, we have equity funding, we have crowdfunding. We are having this more and more now, our crowdfunding. We have cooperative saving groups. I just met with someone who runs a cooperative saving group, so the Cameroonian. And what they do is they you know they organize this business, and then they get money. They ask individuals in the Cameroonian community to contribute money, and then with the money they lend to themselves and lend to other businesses, and then of course they charge interest. So this is also coming up, in this part of the world. We have this um, is so predominant in Africa, where I come from. I don't know where you come from, but um, in most countries like Nigeria, we have these cooperative saving groups is very, very predominant where I come from. We have the revenue-based financing. We have the supplier credit and trade finance. We also have the export, incentives from trade bodies. This also we have, if your company is, if the business you run, has to do with, with import and export. We have some bodies that would give you, funding, either as a loan or as a grant, if you are into, this business. Now, I, for the sake of time, I would want us to take a look at the most common funding sources. If you remember, I told us that we have different types. And this list here is not even, is not exhaustive. We have several other, form of business fundings. Many of them, yes, they vary from, countries to countries. But in the US, this is what you would find, the most. And I want us to take a look at, just three uh, of the common ones that we have. And these three are loans, business loans. We have grants for our businesses, either from, private or public entities. And then we have what I call the equity funding. These we have, they are also called angel investors. These are, individuals or businesses um, that you pitch, your business, and then they give you, some capital, asking for a percentage of equity, in your business. There is a man that is very, very popular. I wouldn't want to mention his name because I don't know where this is going to get to. But if you want to know, in fact, there's a program they do, I think, on NBC or MSNBC. If you want to know about him, you can reach out. I would give you, I would give you, I don't know his private details, but I'll tell you more about him. And maybe someday I would watch you on the TV, pitching your idea, to this man. So let's do the first one, business loan. Loan are the most common form of business funding, primarily obtained from commercial banks, microfinance institutions, or development banks. To access a loan, business usually need a track record of credit worthiness and business plan. Credit worthiness and business plan. We cannot, this is where I have, you know, I mentioned that twice because I see a lot of us struggle, with these two, credit worthiness and business plan. While loans offers, fast access to capital, they come with interest. This interest, of course, are obligations and often require collateral. It is advisable to use a loan when you have a solid repayment plan and a clear revenue model. I'm going to talk a bit about that. But again, I want to reemphasize credit worthiness and business plan. Uh, we, most of us come from countries where the credit system is usually applied, to businesses, right? And a lot of us, we don't have business where we come from. We are the regular 9 to 5, and we don't understand this credit system until we move to the United States. We have a credit system in most countries in Africa. Most people would wonder, uh, is this true? The AAA rating, we have them in Africa, but it's just that most of it are applied, to companies. And because a lot of us, of course, we don't run companies, we don't know we have this credit, credit system. But here in the United States, it applies both to businesses and individuals. And that's why we tell a lot of our clients, to build your credit worthiness because someday it's going to affect whatever you're trying to get for your business. Don't forget that in most cases, a lot of us, we run what we call disregarded entities, single member LLC, that is regarded as you operating as a business. So whatever uh, whatever, however your credit worthiness is, it's good to rub off your business when you start one. The other thing is a business plan. A lot of us, we just organize a business. We have, uh, articles of organization. We have EIN. We have our bank accounts, and then we just feel, yeah, we are in business. Ask a lot of us, where's your business plan? 90% of small business owners don't have one. We don't have a blueprint of, okay, this is what I want to achieve, you know, um, in the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, I am also guilty of this. I used to be guilty of this a year and going to 2 years into the business, right? Uh, at 2 years, for the first time, we also had business plan. And not just that, we had our business goals. What we want to achieve this year. You need this if you are a serious, business owner. Because trust me, if you are not serious with your business, nobody's going to take you serious. Nobody is going to take it. Not even your family will take you serious. Now, let's go back to the second part. Now, while loans offer, fast access to capital, they come with interest obligations. When you are signing that loan agreement, they'll tell you this is going to be the interest rate if you choose this plan. Most of the time, they will give you 3 to 4 plans. How fast do you want to pay? How much are you looking at? What's your repayment plan? This will determine, what the rates would be. And of course, those rates, they turn into obligations at the end of the day. And if you don't meet your obligations, and that when due, of course, you get into trouble. And aside from the obligations, they would also require collateral. Collateral is something that this institution would want you to provide so they can have access and ownership of if you don't meet your obligations. Now, it is advisable to use a loan when you have a solid repayment plan and a clear revenue model. Don't go looking for a loan to do Owambe party. It is not done. I see this a lot, especially in the immigrant community. I'm sorry to say it. And that's why I feel so honored. Even though I don't know my membership status with Resilient Immigrant, I'll be asking whoever invited me, today to know my membership status. But I feel so honored, to be part of this organization because I see what you do. What you do, I can encapsulate it into one, educating every immigrant to making sure that we get it right. And I used to feel bad, you know, when I see how we move as a people, but not anymore because what I think we need is not to yell at ourselves that why are you doing things this way? Rather, we need to do what Resilient Immigrant is doing, being passionate about educating our nation, the immigrant nation, um, to get it right. I was with the current ICANN president, that's the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, is on a courtesy visit to the US. And I was with him 2 days ago. We had to go visit the mayor of Indianapolis. And one of the things he said is, this is a proverb now, that if a woman is being treated right by her husband and her in-laws, she would go and bring all younger sisters to come and be married in the same family. So what am I saying in essence is, as immigrants, we need to do and get things right so we can be allowed to bring our families into this country. Uh, Being an immigrant is not a bad, in fact, it's the best idea to achieve, what is expected of us, even by the Almighty. He said, go into the world and prosper. And it's what we have to do, is why, I think what we are doing today is really, really, really important. I have to, just say that, so we see the essence of what we are doing here, educating us, as a people. And I hope that after this presentation, a lot of us can start seeing, who we are differently when it comes to running a business. Now, different types of business loans. We have the term loans. Uh, this is when a lump sum, with regular payment over a fixed period, um, where you get maybe 1 million, for example, for your business, and then you are required to pay that money back maybe over 30 months. And what you pay in month one is the same as what you pay uh, even at the last month. That is a term loan. Lines of credit. This we see when you go to a bank and then you ask for them to give you a line of credit. Most of the time, it comes as a card that you can spend and pay back, as you spend. This is flexible borrowing up to a limit, and you pay interest only on what you use. You get that? You get a line of credit. Maybe sometimes if you could get 100,000 line of credit, and then maybe you spend maybe like $40,000. The interest you pay is on that $40,000, and as you pay down that $40,000, your interest starts reducing. Right? We have a startup loans. This most of the time, um, banks would give you if they see that you are a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into running your business. They give you this, startup loan just to help for you to, start up. And in most cases, they would want to, see your business plan. Or what do you intend to do, with the business in the short term and in the long term? And then you get this loan from this bank just to support you get out of, the weed as a new, business owner. We have equipment funding. If the business you are running or the business you have is, so for example, manufacturing, business, for example, and you need, a high, you need what we call, capital intensive, equipment, you might get finance from businesses just to purchase those equipment. It is mostly, for manufacturing companies, but sometimes they give it to service providers to get, you know, maybe like office, furnitures, um, just to start a business. But in most cases, this equipment financing goes to businesses that are into manufacturing, to help with their, machinery, and tools. So if you run a manufacturing company, maybe you are making dresses, for example, or you are making ice blocks, or um, you are like an IT IT based kind of a company, and then you need, equipment, to run your business. This is something that you might be looking at. And in most cases, the interest rates are not as high, as these other loans. We have the invoice financing. This you would get if you have a lot of receivables. When I say receivables, you you have provided services. You've given out invoices to your client and your customers, but they are yet to pay you. You can take these invoices to a bank and use as a collateral to get a loan that I am expecting this morning, but I need money to do, certain things, what we call working capital. Working capital is the money you need to run the business on a day-to-day, right? The bank would look at um, your invoices, and sometimes even do a background check on your customers and see if they pay up most of the time. And based off that, they could say, okay, you have receivables, money you are expecting from your clients up to 1 million. Based on the information that we have, you are only going to be receiving maybe about 600,000 of that. Then they can give you the 600,000. If they see that $400,000 might become, bad debt, they are not going to give you, you know, say for example, if they see that there's a company that is owing you $400,000, and that company is known to be a very, very bad, debtor, they won't give you money. You won't be given loan based off, that customer. They will give you to the extent that they feel the money that you'll be getting back. So that is invoice, financing. Uh, Now let's talk about grants. Business grants are usually awarded to businesses to help them start or grow their operation. Unlike loans, grants don't need to be paid back and usually don't carry any interest rate. They are typically provided by government, corporations, foundations, or trust, are usually awarded for specific purpose like innovation, sustainability, job creation. Securing a grant can be competitive and requiring businesses, to demonstrate their eligibility and impact uh, of the funding. I saw this a lot um, two, 3 years ago during COVID. Government gave a lot of grants. Foundations gave a lot of grants. Even corporations. The government and foundations gave more because even corporations were running to government, to get grants. We had government, um, and these grants are closely related to what we call bailout, right? Like during the COVID period, we had the airlines requesting for bailout from the government. It's close because, like it said here, most of these airlines, ran to the government that for them to keep people in their jobs, they need this money. So in most cases, government would give you this grant so you can keep people within the organization because they know that when you ask them to leave, what we call sack, right? Uh, they would come to the government to get what we call unemployment benefits. So government would rather give you money to keep them within the company and pay them their salary than them coming, Imagine, just look at this scenario. If government gives one corporation, millions of dollars to keep, um, let's say, 1,000 employees, in the job. That is better to coordinate than these thousand coming to the government and asking for money. So sometimes we wonder why government would do this. I just give you a very simple scenario. Government would rather want to deal with one person. So it's still like government giving unemployment benefits, right? But in this case, is in form of a grant. Take this money, make sure you keep them so they don't come after me, right? It's very simple. And then, as it's said here, if I was at the USPTO office, I think late last year, and just by coincidence, I met the man that innovated Bluetooth. He's from Sweden, and he told me about the different grants, that he got from different governments to get you and I to use Bluetooth the way we use it today. And in fact, he said that is one out of the many innovations that he has, and that is even one out of the many innovations that is out there, that we know. He mentioned a few that a lot of us don't really know about, as we know Bluetooth. So if you have an innovation like that, an innovation, take for example, that could prosper immigrants in a way that government would want us more here, bring it up. And let's help you get a loan. Let's help you get a grant, rather, I should say, from the government, because trust me, every government is looking for innovations from private individuals, companies that can help, the world. Imagine if you have something that could just make COVID disappear during 2, 3 years ago. Imagine how much funding you would have gotten from the government. If you can perform one magic, right? Uh, um, yeah, but in most cases, you would get grant like this if you can come up with an idea that is identified, that can be identified in helping, our community, our countries. Now, types of grants. We have government grants. I just mentioned one now. These are typically funded by, federal, state, or local government, and are designed, to stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and foster innovation. A good example is the U.S. Small Business Administration. During the COVID era, we got different kinds of grants. We got one a loan, and then we got another one, the PPP, that the SBA gave. The PPP you don't have to pay back. The loan, of course, you have to pay back. And most government all over the world, they have the, different, grants that they give to individuals and businesses. If you can show that, yes, you are able to stimulate, the economy. We have the research and development grants. Research, basically we know this as, R&D. These are grants specifically designed to support businesses engaged in innovative projects that have the potential to advance technology and create new products. Um, there's something that I, um, if I was a tech guru, that I would have loved to do, like I would have loved that as an immigrant, you can just appear, and appear in Africa, and be back in less than 10 minutes. So if you are here or you ever listen to this and you think you can make this happen, reach out. I know those who would make sure that you get, grants, for you to make this happen. But I mean, jokes apart, if you as an immigrant, we've seen it. I've seen this a lot of times. There's something you did me, There's something that resilient immigrant I see post, and I'm trying to look for one right now. Um, yeah, for example, I like this one that says the immigrant impact. Did you know? I'm reading out this one now. The visionary who built a global workforce solution powerhouse from our apartment is an immigrant, and this has to do with PG. Uh, Now imagine this lady, just imagine how much grant she would have received from the government to build this workforce solution. So immigrant or not, if you uh, if you identify today um, to help through innovative product services project come forward, um, you'll be amazed, how much the government of this country, can help you. Um, I mean, we see Tesla today, even though I'm not a fan of who is known to be Tesla. Um, but these are is from South Africa, and look at how much of help it's getting from the government. Build up, what is able to do. Uh, I say this to let you know that it doesn't matter who you are. If any nation, if any community sees you as someone that can help, they would they would entrust, you know, their resources into your hands because they know that with you, that community can be better. So if you have anything in form of an idea that you think can sell and scale and ultimately help the community you live in come forward. We have the sustainability and green business grant. We all know about the green, the Green Deal. As environmental concerns, continue to rise, an increasing number of grants are available for businesses focused on sustainability and green practice. I helped a company get a grant. They they provide um, consulting, services for businesses that are into solar energy. And I helped. I was one of the team who assisted them in getting over $3.8 million grant from the government. Uh, this was during Biden's administration. I don't think we have something like this, happening right now with the administration that we have. But yes, if you know that you can help with sustainability, if there's any idea that you have, start putting them together now. Because someday we are going to have an administration, that will support the Green Deal again. So don't don't kill it. Don't kill that idea. Make sure you continue to nurture it while you wait, for this kind of grant. Now, these grants are designed to support initiatives that promote environmental stewardship, renewable energy, as I mentioned, this business that I help, and sustainability, sustainable agriculture. We also have a corporate grant for small business. Many large corporations have grant programs as part of their give back initiatives. These grants are designed to support innovative community development or sustainability effort. I was part of a team that met with TD Bank just last week, and they told the organization, which is very similar to Resilient Immigrant, that they have this grant that they give to organizations such as the organization I represented and Resilient. I mean, it's very small, but as a company, especially an organization like Resilient Immigrant that you are still, growing, you don't want to leave any money on the table, right? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. grants, they all count. They will go towards something. So TD Bank, they have, grants that they give to small businesses and organizations such as Resilient, Immigrant. So if you have a small business, you might want to look into that. And like TD Bank, we have Bank of America, Chase. Most of these banks, they have grants that they give, to small businesses. So yeah, that's for grants. Uh, Angel investment, venture capital, or what we call equity funding. This you would see most of the time when you have wealthy individuals, um, give you capital to help with your business. Angel investors are wealthy individuals who invest early in businesses in exchange for equity. At the same time, venture capitalists invest large sums into high potential startups in exchange for equity and control. Equity financing involves selling a portion of your business to investors, and it is common for startups and high growth firms. The benefit is that you don't have to repay the money, but you have to give up some control and share your profit. Equity is suitable when scaling quickly and needing strategic partnerships, partners or large, capital inflow. As read out there, if you have a business that you know uh, can scale because you've identified that it's a business that provides solutions that are needed um, in different communities. You might want to take a look at this. Uh, because if you are waiting to fund that business from the profit that you make, it will take you a longer time to scale. It will take you a longer time to grow. So it is better for you to give a portion, right? A portion of that business to angel investors so you can grow quickly. I say this that it is better to be part, of a big entity than to be one and all of a small, like I used to say back then, that I don't mind, you know, being, that small, fish in a very big, river or ocean, knowing very well that I have options than to be, that big fish, the only big fish in a very small pond. Imagine putting one big fish in that small pot in your house and a small fish in a river that is able to, go anywhere it wants. Same way it is for a business. If you have a business that can scale, and before you know it, we have it in Europe, we have it in we have it in Africa. You might want to look at this form of funding. You know, yes, you would have to give out some form of control, meaning you don't have total control of the business. But it is also good for you because most of these angel investors, they have professionals, lawyers, accountants, and you know, different professionals that can help situate your business in a way that will be so profitable for you. It's very, very simple. Just imagine if you are the one and all of a business and all you make in a year is $100,000, $500,000. And then you have someone, who is ready to inject millions into your business. And then you guys are making 10 million. You are making 20 million. And then you have to share that 20 million profit with an angel investor. And at the end of the day, because you have the highest, number of shares, you are still able to make like 10 million from whatever, if it is 20, 30 million. Which one do you think is better? Right? But I say this here because I know a lot of us, we are always more of control of ownership than profits, right? And we need to have a shift in that mindset. Now, how to access these angel investors? Networking events like startup events, conferences, incubator programs. I was part of an incubator program that ended last Saturday. Last Saturday, yeah. And these small business owners, in over 6 weeks, they learn a lot. They got to learn a lot from different, mentors and business, professionals. So if there is any incubator program that you see is happening out there, make sure you enroll. And at the end of this incubator program I was part of, these we had all of them pitch their ideas, and they won some prizes. In fact, one of the prizes they won is that you'll be getting a 1 year free service from FinServe Pro for 1 year. Free of them. Uh, that is one way of that's one way where you get, I wouldn't call that funding, but at least uh, that would help, along with, because we're going to be helping them with setting up of their QuickBooks, their bookkeeping and accounting system. For those who will be requiring business registration, we're going to be helping them with that for free. So if there's any incubator program you see out there, make sure you plug yourself in as a small business owner. Um, Now, online platforms, we have the one, the very common one they call Seeders. We have Angel List. We have Cube. We have, the Y Combinator. We have a lot of platforms out there where you can pitch your ideas, for these wealthy, individuals and businesses. Then we have accelerator and incubator programs like the one I just mentioned now. These programs, provide mentorship and access, to investors. Um, the one I was part of last weekend, there's this woman who she owns a multi-million dollar, business. She was the keynote speaker for the grand finale of this incubator program that I was part of last week. And I was just, I didn't know if she was going to reach out because she did not say that at the event. But possibly, just imagine if there's one or more of those business owners, that she was interested in, she could invest for some form of control. That's how you get to meet, these angel investors. Choosing the right option. I think I have a question here. We have a Q&A section, and then that's when I'm going to be taking, the questions that we have from. I think I have one from Prudence. Prudence, I'll be coming back to you anytime soon. Now, choosing the right funding option. Remember, I said at the start of this that yes, we have several, options, right, of funding, but you want to choose the right one, right? For example, when you are starting up, you want to go for a startup, loan or grant than you going for an angel investor because you don't even know how far your business can go, right? If you have, for example, a business where you um, need a lot of machinery or tools, you might want to go for an equipment financing, for example, rather than you looking for a loan, a term loan. So there are so many considerations you have to, have in mind before you choose the right form of funding. Now, understanding your business is essential to enable you, choose the right funding options. Some key things to consider before selecting a funding source, are this. Number one, what is your business type? Are you a tech startup? Um, are you, a service provider like FinServe Pro, where we uh, provide accounting, insurance, loan, um, tax services? With what we do, we can't be looking for equipment financing, for example. I mean, the bank is going to ask me, so what equipment do you want us to, what equipment do you want to buy, right? So you want to consider your business type. You also want to consider your business stage. Remember, I just said, if you're a startup, for example, you might want to go for startup loans, startup grants, than you looking for an angel investor, for example. Because when an angel investor throws questions at you as a startup, you will dive for cover, right? You want to understand that business first before you start talking to an angel investor. You want to consider your business life stage and what funding works better this stage. Any business owner may lean towards grants or angels, while established businesses might consider, loans. Your risk appetite. Um, for example, I'm a very, very risky, high risky, person. The- my risk appetite is very, very high. If someone comes to me now and say, look, Ayo, we want to inject $1 billion loan into FinServe Pro for 30% equity, it's happening. It's happening. All we need to do is to look at, the terms, the conditions. Is this something that they want, for life? Yeah. But not not all of us. It's not everyone, right? That has, that kind of appetite. I know individuals that would rather stay how, I call them conventional business owner. Um, um, there's this business I can't is one of the biggest, F&G company in the US. It has been family owned since the 19 1900. I can't remember their name right now. They have never received, funding from any angel investors. They kept the business within the family, and they are like that till now. And as of today, they are one of the biggest F&G, businesses that we have out there. Then you have a growth plan. You want to consider your long-term business plan and goals. For instance, aggressive scaling might suit. Um, yeah. So, for instance, if you yeah. So for example, if you want to bring in, venture capitalists into your business, right? Like I said earlier, if I, if an angel investor is coming to me, for example, now, and they are bringing in billions to the business, I would want to see the terms and conditions. Do they want to be part of the business for life? You know, for instance, if I want to scale aggressively, this is talking to me right now. Is it good for me to bring in a venture capitalist, or do I just want to, grow my business with my profit, or look for other sources of funding, right? It is very, very important for you to consider. You have to ask yourself, um, how do we want to maintain the ownership of this business, for in long, on the long term. because we've seen situations where venture capitalists come into your business and they they keep injecting in your businesses until they have what we call majority ownership, and that business is no more yours. So, if you have a high risk appetite, you also want to be cautious of how you let people into your business, because there are vultures out there that are ready to take that business away from you just like that. So you want to be very, very careful. So these are some of the typical considerations, you want to, have in going after funding. Um, how to prepare for funding. And this is very, very key, and I would want us to pay attention to this. It is one thing for you to start a business and then you need, money to grow the business. But what I see is that a lot of us don't prepare. We don't plan for funding. And that's why the numbers of funding applications that has been rejected is like over 5 times those that have been approved. Only one in most cases out of every 5 applications you get approved. Why? We don't prepare. We don't plan. Right? One of it is that you must create a very solid business plan. I know this is being recorded. How long do we have? Can you, organizer, how long do we have? Hello? Okay. I don't think she's there. Yeah, okay, so I'll just because I don't know if we have just 1 hour
We just
or
had
we
we
have
had just 1 hour, Mr. Ayo, but that's okay. You can continue. That's fine.
okay, 1 hour, right? I'll just go over, yeah. So we can create a solid business plan. We can, you need to register and structure your business legally. A lot of us don't do this too. We have ideas, we don't register the business, and we feel we can just go to the bank and say, hey, I want to make loan. Then you have to get your financials in order. You need to keep a detailed, financial records that are up to date. Your P&L, your balance sheet, for example, you need to keep all of that. If you want to go for, the invoice financing that I mentioned earlier, you want to have a record detailing the invoices that are yet to be paid. That you need that. You need to know your key metrics. For example, what is your cash flow? If I ask a lot of us here who are business owners, how much do you make averagely from your sale? A lot of us cannot tell, right? You need to know your revenue projections. You need to know your break-even point. You need to understand your funding needs. What are you looking? Why do you want to get that funding? You need to know the need, because if you don't know the need, you will not know the right funding you should get. Then you need to build a reputation of integrity and reliability, in your operations. And this, I can tell you that your financials will show. If a bank picks up your financial, they will be able to tell if your business is reliable or not. Now, mistakes to avoid. Uh, in deciding to look for an additional funding for your business, it is not one to be taken, lightly. Here are some common mistakes to avoid to help ensure you get the best possible financing for your business. Apply without a clear business plan, or needs. I see this a lot every time, a lot. Ignoring the terms and conditions of loans or grants. Relying on funding, without validating your business model. representing financials. A lot of us will misrepresent our financials a lot. Using funds for unintended or personal expenses. Remember, I told you, don't go and get a loan and then you go and start one big party. I've seen people buy homes on mortgage and then they still went and get loan to do housework. I've seen this happen several times, right? Not being willing to negotiate, financials. These are some of the, common mistakes, that we make. I'm rushing over this, but if you feel that you know, you need some more, you can reach out to Resilient Immigrant and then they can hook you up with our business. Now, for prudence, uh, your question you asked, now, there are particular businesses the banks you mentioned give grants to in terms of industry type. This here would answer your question, right? Um, we have different, I mean, I came up with 10. We have so many, we have millions out there, but I came up with 10, that I know, are immigrant friendly. We have the SBA, we have, the Micro Enterprise Development Plan. We have the Minority, Business Development Agency. We have Kiva loans. They give loans to startups. We have pursuit lending. We have immigrant rising. Uh, Resilient immigrant, you might want to reach out to immigrant rising to see if you guys can have some form of collaboration. I know they collaborate with immigrant organizations like you. So you might want to reach out to them and see how you can bring them closer to, your community. We have Bank of America loans for Black businesses. We have one M Blank, Black businesses. We have Arise micro grants for women. Prudence, I see your photo. Uh, I see a lady here. So if you are a lady, you might want to look into this. They help with loans and grants for businesses. So you might want to reach out to them. Then when we talked about, the equipment, we have the Lenovo, Evolve grant. If you have a business and then you need, maybe like laptops, computers, or other equipment, this is a grant you might want to look out for. Yeah, so if you need, because with this, you can just click, right? And then it will take you to, um, their website. So if you need this, I can provide these resources and even more, so you can, go and research later. Now to the industry, we have grants and loans for every industry you can think of. It's just for you to know which industry you belong to and make sure that you have a plan that suits that industry and also your, your financials, your P&L, your cash flow, your revenue, projections. We have grants for every industry you can think of. But like I said, if you need to reach out, you can contact Resilient Immigrant and then they can hook you up with FinServe. Now, how can we help you as a company? FinServe Pro is a financial services company, like I mentioned. We provide accounting services, tax filing, insurance, loans. Now, if you have an idea as of today and you are thinking, how can I bring this to life? You must start with what we call business registration. We can help you with that. If you need some form of mentorship and visibility, we can help you with that. After, registering your business, and then you have a bank account, you want to have your bookkeeping and accounting system, we can help you with that. If you want to apply for a loan and you have as part of the requirement that you need your financial reporting, your financial report, we can help you with your financial reporting. At the end of the year, as a business owner, you must file your taxes, whether it is a single member LLC, a multi-member LLC, a C Corp, a non-for-profit like Resilient Immigrant, um, an S corp, if you are elected as an S corp, you must file your taxes at the end of the year. We help with that, both federal and state. Do you need to get insurance? If you're a professional, you need to get a professional insurance. You need to get your workers' compensation insurance, or you need to insure the property that your business owns. We can help you with that. If you need to run payroll for your business, if you have employees and then you need to run payroll for them, or other benefits like 401k, we can help you with that. So these are the major ways we can help you. There are other things we can do for you. If you ever need our help, please contact FinServe Pro. We have a Q&A. I've been able to answer one of our questions. If we have anybody out there who have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask your question as we round up this session. Do we have any question?
Question. If you are not sure of a business type that you want to get into and you are looking to be an entrepreneur and you wanted to have a sit down with somebody to look at what sectors are looking good at this point, or if you are thinking of going into maybe like franchising and that kind of stuff, is that something you guys can advise on as well?
So we mentioned, we said here that we can help you, with business mentorship and visibility. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can sit down with you and look at your idea. What idea do you have? And how can that translate into a business, right? And
Okay.
then beyond that, we can now tell you, okay, this is the best form of business you can have. Remember, we mentioned that we have single member LLC, multi-member LLC, which is a partnership business. We have what we call incorporation. We have what we call a non-for-profit, right? These are forms of businesses that you can have. And when you have a single member LLC, when your business should be a corporation, that could be a problem, right? And this is what we see all the time. Aside from that, we've had situations where individuals have single member LLC, and by the time they are applying for their EIN with the government, with the federal government, they are applying for EIN for partnership. That is a problem to right there. So if you need any form of mentorship, to see how best you can, start a business, yeah, we are here to help you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay. So if you want to learn more, I mentioned from here that we have these types of business funding. We only talked about the loan, the grant, and the equity funding. We have a crowdfunding, which we did not talk about. If you want to learn about, others are listed out here, you can reach out to us. We have our contact here. You can send us an email. And if you are yet to follow Prudence, Madam Prudence.
Hello, sir. I'm here. Good
Yeah, do
afternoon,
you own a
sir.
business?
Oh, no, not yet, but I'm considering one. But I'm still putting myself together.
Okay. So I know Resilient Immigrant is already following us on Instagram. So I would appeal here that Prudence and Ikena, you can both follow us, at FinServe Pro on our
Okay.
Instagram to learn more about. Yeah. So after this presentation, when I log on to the business Instagram, I want to see both of you, following to learn more about, how we can help you.
Okay, sir.
And I just taught you a bit about visibility there. right? When you have a business, just like Resilient Immigrant, you must have social media handles for your business, right? And always make sure that when you go to networking events such as this, you talk about it and ask for people to, follow you, because someday one of your messages will just hook up at the right time, and then they will reach out to you, right? The world is becoming smaller because of social media, and you want to make sure that you get as many people into your room as possible. And then our phone number, of course, is 240-714-8958. Thank you so much, Resilient Immigrant, for this opportunity again. And I hope that this would not be the last. That will be the end of this presentation. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you, Mr. Aya. Thank you, Resident Immigrant.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Aya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.